What is up, my people? I'm back with another show and tell slash kind of review that I normally do. I recently acquired an LMT. I don't know why that's looking blurry. I hope it's not blurry on your end when I upload this video. But anyway, for those of you who don't know what LMT is, it's Lewis Machine and Tool. These are very hard to find in a store. So anyway, last Friday, I have kind of a quick story. Last Friday, I was at my main gun shop where I purchase firearms, and I'm a big Daniel Defense fan. And while I was going through their Daniel Defense spinner that had all their rifles in there, I seen this like Cerakote green, kind of a cryptic looking, which I later found out was a limited series, and they call it a crocodile finish. Beautiful gun, tons of upgrades for an amazing price. So I wanted to do a little bit more research on it, and I'm kind of glad I did and also didn't, because I really want that Daniel Defense. But anyway, it's their limited series. So this was last Friday. Today's Friday the 14th of November. So the next day, my wife and I went on a date. We went to another city about an hour and a half or so away. And after we ate, I noticed that there was a gun shop. There was two of them very close to where we just had lunch. So I'm like, hey, let's go check these out real quick. So the first one was pretty much garbage. And the second one we went to, I seen this guy hanging on the wall. And in my last video, I mentioned I wanted an FDE AR, kind of hence the reason I got the FDE Vortex Crossfire 2. Man, that is looking really blurry. I don't know why. So anyway, it was hanging on the wall, no optic, no nothing, pretty much exactly almost in this configuration. I'm going to explain a couple things. And I seen a price tag dangling from it, and it had a yellow stripe on it, which I assumed was like a used gun. I didn't know it was an LMT at the end at first, so I walk up to it and I see the price, and I'm like, I'm really curious now because of the price. Like it was pretty high, and all I seen was the 3 letters LMT. I'm like, holy crap. I said, is that a 300 blackout or a 5.56? And the guy was like, it's a 5.56. I'm like, let me see that. So anyway, it was on consignment, and this is a 10.5 inch 5.56 on a Defender LMT lower. I don't know what model their upper is, but anyway, LMT, for those of you that may not know why LMT is let me say top notch, top tier. A lot of people like it for their monolithic upper, so you cannot detach and put a different handguard on your AR. This is all one piece, the whole upper. And really what that's for is if you're mounting lights, lasers, anything that you have to zero any type of digital type optic, PEC 15, stuff of that nature, the handguard is not going to clock on you. It is going to be zeroed for the entire length of the rail. So anyway, I started asking questions because it is on consignment. For those of you that don't know much about consignment, especially on firearms, you can barter with them, basically, because somebody had come in and said, hey, I want you to sell this for me, because the gun shop was like, yeah, it's probably not a gun that's going to move fast because of how expensive it is. So what we'll do is we'll put this up for sale for you, and they'll collect some minimal fee, monumental fee, whatever it be. I don't know what it is. So anyway, they had some bullshit pins in here, some K&S pins, and I couldn't break this down. And I really wanted to see the inside of this to see how clean everything was. Give me 1 second. I am so sorry. I wonder if that helped any. I had to wipe that lens a little bit. It's just looking really blurry. So anyway, I knew this was not 100% LMT, and what I mean by that is the lower parts kit are not stamped. LMT does not stamp their lower parts kit, so you could have the bottom shelf lower parts kit in here for all we know. But what I did know is they didn't have an LMT buffer tube and buffer tube kit. So it did come with a LaRue 2-stage trigger, a Radiant Talon charging handle, some garbage buffer kit and spring and buffer weight, and this BTR blade. So I was hesitant on making this video because I ordered a bunch of stuff for this. Some stuff had come in. So on here, the lighting's probably not going to pick it up the greatest. I'm really frustrated why. So LMT has this grayish looking finish, and it's what they call a dry film. And it's also applied on the inside of the upper, not so much the lower because there's really not moving parts there except for your trigger, but you'll see this gray type film inside of an LMT. And what that's for is ease of cycling and to keep everything lubricated, kind of like a self-lubrication. I don't think that's a thing, a self-lubrication, but you get the gist of it. So anyway, I ordered the LMT buffer kit. So I also ordered a SBA 5 stock for this. I'm not messing with the lower parts kit. The lower parts kit seems fine. I cannot identify this buffer, the BCG, I'm sorry. I cannot identify that, so I'm probably gonna upgrade that to something. I'm not gonna go LMT. I'm probably gonna go like Sons of Liberty or BCM. I did put a hand stop on it, a little Slate Black Industries. I am really hating how this doesn't look focused on my end. Curious what the review is gonna look like. I did get a FDE Kung Fu grip, so the FDE SBA 5 brace. So I want this whole thing FDE. Another thing is you cannot buy an LMT in this color, in this full color. In different uppers and lowers, yes, you can. Whoever owned this before me had it professionally Cerakoted, and the reason I know this is you can kind of see the outline. So if I broke this apart, you would see like an outline of, you know, the edges here of where it was Cerakoted. Whoever did it did a good job. It feels really good. For some reason, my video quality is not looking the best, and I apologize for that, but I promise you it'll be better on the finished review. I'm not sure if I talked about the barrel, but you do have these 2 cross bolts right here. There's 2 bolts there, and somebody witness marked them, bless their heart, because that's exactly what I do. As you can see, when I installed my LMT buffer, I witness mark the castle nut. Man, this is real. I'm wondering if it's the lighting. So anyway, this is a 10.5 inch 5.56 barrel. I can run up to a 16 inch if I want. I can run a 300 blackout. Other calibers that'll accommodate the same BCG. But anyway, you remove these 2 bolts, and the barrel and the whole gas block and tube slide right out the front. You can put your barrel back in, or you can exchange it for another barrel, different caliber. You torque these 2 down. There's a specific wrench you can get, or it's 90 inch pounds for both cross bolts. And they say with what you zeroed with the barrel that's currently in the rifle, it's supposed to return back to 0. So anyway, another kind of story. I went back, so mind you, it's Friday the 14th of November, 2025. I went back to the gun shop where I bought this today. They had a couple of other ARs there that I was interested in, but I was like, man, I really want that Dino Defense limited series. So I was like, you know what? I need to get a dedicated suppressor for this. And nobody carries rugged cans here anymore in the vicinity that I go through. I've had great experiences with rugged cans. The Rugged Razor 5.56 and 30 cal. I have probably a half a dozen of them. So anyway, I seen this tiny little can in their case, and I'm like, what is that thing? And he said it's an Otter Creek Labs Polonium K. So after looking at it, I'm like, hey, let's move forward with this. Let's get it. I know we're coming up the end of 2025, and sometime next year, the $200 tax stamp may or may not go away. I'm fine with that. I'm fine paying the $200 right now because I don't want to. I'm reading on forums that people are thinking that when this $200 tax stamp goes away, we're going to go back to pre-2024 wait times because of so many people buying cans now. I don't know. Anyway, I want to dedicate a suppressor, so I bought the Otter Creek Labs Polonium K. But interesting enough, the store that I was at, that I bought this LMT at last week, their customer service really was shitty today. So I got pissed and left and didn't spend a dime there. And on my way home, there is another gun shop that I've been to one time. So I stopped in there because I was pissed and I needed some retail therapy. So they not only had the Otter Creek Labs Polonium K, but it was also $20 cheaper. They did everything in-house. They don't have a silencer co kiosk, but they have their own program where we got everything knocked out in probably 15 or 20 minutes. He did my fingerprints digitally. He took my picture and everything was ready to go, paid for it, and I was on my way. So once I get all the rest of my parts in and that can, hopefully, he says he thinks it's going to be about 5 to 10 days. He said it could be by next Friday, but you never know. I'm not in any hurry. I already broke that loose. I'm not even sure why the original owner would have had that on there. I mean, I get it, but so I have an SBA 5 brace. Oh, I swapped out those CAN-S pins. So they had like ball bearings on the other side. You had to push this pin in, and it was kind of like a Chinese finger trap. You had to push a pin in on one side while putting force on the other side of the lower to start moving them. So anyway, I upgraded them with Geisley pins, takedown pins. They were like 14 bucks on primary arms. So I got the SBA 5 brace, the FDE Kung Fu grip. I'm going to do a taco wrap because this is a very thin handguard. I think that's what you would call this still, even though it's one piece. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. I'm also gonna get a wrap for the Otter Creek Labs. That was kind of a tongue twister, but it'll be my dedicated can for this LMT. And I swapped this mount and red dot from the Sons of Liberty. The Sons of Liberty has a Unity Fast, the 226 mount, and a Sig Romeo 5 Gen 2. But other than that, I know that I don't have a lot of followers, and I'm fine with that. I like showing off stuff, talking about some things. But those of you that do watch my videos, help me decide what BCG to get with this. I have it narrowed down to 3. I'm not getting an LMT because I can't find much info on the basic LMT bolt carrier group for $250. I can get the enhanced one for like $600, but that's well above my league. I don't shoot like that where I need to spend $600 on a bolt carrier group. So I went narrowed down to a Sons of Liberty, a Dano Defense, and a BCM. If you have any other recommendations, I'm still researching. I'm not trying to spend a ton of money, trying to keep it under 200 bucks. I'm sure any one of those will do just fine in here, but if you have something else that you run suppressed on a short barrel, especially like a 10.5, drop it in the chat and I will research it and go from there. But man, I know I have other parts coming in for this thing and I just can't remember it. This is very smooth though. It was very smooth even with this cheap ass buffer tube that was in there, but surprisingly this is smoother than any of my Dano Defenses, especially my Mark 18s that I had put money into buffer systems and springs and buffer weights. This is very much like, it feels like it's on ball bearings. I thought my Mark 18s were really smooth. No, this is really smooth. Oh, this is another thing I got. Of course, on all my ARs, I run the Radiant Talon 45-degree safeties. This is just a mil spec in here. Gonna keep the trigger, gonna keep the trigger guard. I don't even know who makes that trigger guard. It's not even wanting to focus. I don't see any emblems on there. Like, I mean, it looked like a Magpul. I don't feel like spending $40 on a LMT trigger guard when this is suffice. But anyway, I know some LMT guru could watch this. Just by seeing this, you'll know it's a full LMT upper, LMT lower. I don't care about showing, actually, you know what, just in case. Let me see if that pulls up. I doubt it will. It's probably, you can kind of see the LMT. Tell you what, when this is fully completed, hopefully within the next, by the end of the month, let's say that, I will do a full video. I'll make sure the lighting's great. I'll have a little flashlight where I can show the markings, the emblems of LMT, but LMT uppers, they are a proprietary. I can't just throw in like a Roscoe or a Criterion barrel in here without spending all kinds of money to get it basically honed out for this, and that would just be a waste of money. But these barrels, they're not cheap. They're about $600 just to swap out a barrel. Like if I wanted to run an 11.5, I wanted to run a 300 blackout. But anyway, I just wanted to do this quick show and tell. Hope y'all like it. So the next time you see this, it'll look a little bit different. And I will talk to y'all soon. Take care.